Howdy y'all, it's us, the Emotional Cowgirls. I'm Ree.
I'm Emma.
And we're going to be doing a paranormal, experiences video where we basically tell our own personal, scary stories, but they're true.
Yep.
So we got this idea from Harmony Nice, and I love her. I'm going to give her a shout out. Love you, Harmony. I love you. So, would you like to start with your story first?
Yeah. So me and my sister went to Walmart, and I accidentally left the door unlocked, and we came back, and I felt like I was being watched. And so I went downstairs, and I just had a really bad feeling. And I got dressed, and I kept hearing whispering and things like that, and I just felt really uncomfortable in my own room, which does not happen often. I mean, used to at the time, but not anymore. And then I went to my sister's room and we started painting. Started painting. And sorry.
You got this, Emily. You got
Anyway,
this.
and it was just really sketchy. And then my sister was like, "Go get me food," and I didn't want to, but she shoved me out of the room and locked the door. Don't spin. Anyway, and so I started walking up the stairs, and my stairs kind of go up, and then there's a turn, and then they go back up. So it's anyway, and my parents' room is right behind the turn, so my back was to the door, and I turned around, and I saw somebody closing my mom's door and walking around in a room, and I could see the little shadows of feet under the door. And so instead of running back down the stairs, I ran up into my laundry room where my dog was. My dog is plural. We have so many dogs. And I went down to my elevator, which led straight to my room. And I ran to my sister's room. I started banging on the door, and she wouldn't open it, and it took her forever. And I could hear somebody coming down the stairs. And so I ran in the door, I closed the door and locked it. And we were sitting in there, and I was like, "Call mom, call mom, call mom." Because I thought maybe someone is home, and maybe I'm being paranoid, So she calls my mom, and she's talking to her, and she's like, "No, no one's home." And then all of a sudden we hear footsteps, hardcore, bang, 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 running around right above her room, which is in my kitchen area. And it was super scary, and so we called 911 thinking that someone broke into our house, and the police came and they searched everywhere. And while they were searching, me and my sister were sitting alone in the house again while they were searching the outside. And we were sitting on the couch in my entryway, and we heard a toilet seat slam in the nearby bathroom. So we ran in there, and there was no one in there. The door was closed and locked, but the toilet seat was closed, and it was open a minute ago, obviously, because it slammed shut. And then a few minutes later, we kept hearing blinds opening and closing, things like that. And that night, I kept hearing whispering, and I thought that there was people in my house. And anyway, the police found nothing, and it was pretty sketchy. And okay, so this happened again, probably 3 weeks later, and this time my whole family was there. So before, my mom and everyone thought that me and my sister were just being dramatic because we're dramatic teenage girls. Anyway, it was really irritating. And so we were all sitting in the kitchen, and I was in the bathroom, and we kept hearing loud thumps coming from my attic, and we got really confused. And so I got out of the bathroom, and we were kind of just listening. Then we heard people talking and walking up in my attic. And so my mom started panicking because she has really bad anxiety, and so she started panicking, and we ran into her room, and we closed and locked her door. And my two sisters, Caitlin and Alyssa, they were downstairs because my sister does gore makeup for a living, and so she was doing gore makeup on my sister Caitlin. And we tried calling them to tell them to come upstairs because there was people in our house, and they would not answer their phone. So my sister Brianna grabbed a shotgun and ran downstairs to go get them, and ran back up. And we closed and locked my mom's door, and we were all safe inside of her room. And then we heard people walking toward my mom's door, so we all ran into her closet and closed and locked the door. And my sister Brianna loaded up the shotgun or rifle or a gun, I don't know what kind it was. Anyway, and was standing by the door with the gun pointed to the door, and they were trying to open it, and we heard talking. So we called the police, and they took forever to get there. And up until literally the dude knocked on the door, and let me just add, you can see my mom's room from our front door because our front door is completely made out of glass. And the police knocked on the door, and the handle and everything, they just stopped, and we don't know where they went. The police searched the entire house again, and we found nothing. And for the next couple of days, we just kept hearing whispering, and they searched the attic too, and they couldn't find anything. And yeah, and so then we came and we like cleansed our house and stuff, and we haven't had problems since then.
That's good.
Yeah.
For my story, I was gonna do this one that happened when I was like super little, but it was probably the most terrifying thing that's ever happened to me, which wasn't, I mean, it wasn't that scary like at the time because I didn't really like think about it that much, but I mean, I don't know. So basically, when I was little, I never ever slept. Like I tried really hard, but my body just wouldn't go to sleep. And like I would take stuff for that later, but and I'd have these these appointments and stuff. But I don't know. When I was little, before we knew about that stuff, like I just couldn't sleep. So one thing is, one night I was just lying in bed awake like I did every other night, and my little sister, we had a trundle bed. My sister was on a little trundle that would pull out from our the real bed. That was my bed. So basically she had like a slide out mattress kind of thing that came out from under my bed. We'd pull it out at night and she'd sleep on it. So she'd fallen asleep, of course. I'm like doing the wrong accent. She'd fallen asleep, of course, and she was like snoring and stuff, and I'm like, okay, whatever. And I was just like awake like I always was every night. And then all of a sudden I see my little brother walk into my room, and he was like, I want to say 2 at the time, something around that. And his room was, he had the next room over, and he always went to sleep like right away because he's a little kid, you know. And I want to say I was about 8 or 9 around this time. And so my little 2-year-old brother just walks in my room, and it's like 3 in the morning. And I'm like, hey, can you go to bed? Like, hey, I'm sorry, but like, it's time to go to bed. Like, you shouldn't be up right now. You're gonna be all tired tomorrow. Like, hey, like, come on, go back to bed, you know? Like, I'm trying to like, be like, hey, because he probably was like half asleep and like came in to ask me for water or something. I don't know. And or maybe he was scared. I don't know. I was like, hey, do you need anything? Like, you need to go back to bed so you're not tired tomorrow, you know? Like, mom's not gonna be happy to know you're awake right now. And then he just stands there and doesn't say anything. He just stands there. So I'm like, is he sleepwalking? Like, what's happening? And I'm like, hey, can you go back? Can you go back? Like, come on, please. Like, I'll make you something tomorrow. Like, I'll give you, like, cookies or something. But, like, I need you to go to sleep, okay? It's for your own good. And he just stood there for, like, the longest time. And I just sat there and, like, stared at him. And he, like, stared back. And he just had a straight face. And it was really weird. And then all of a sudden he, like, walked behind my door. And, the door was like open, and so it was like a shadow behind the door, you know? So he went behind that shadow until like I could only see his eyes, and then he just disappeared. And I was like, hey, you still there? So then I went over and I opened the door like to see if he was still behind the door, and no one was there. And then I went into his room and he was sound asleep. And so I'm thinking either that was like a spirit like trying to pretend to be him, I don't know, like my mom said I'd seen things as a little kid all the time and stuff, so I don't know if it was like that, if we had like spirits in our house, which we did, and our neighbors had it really bad too, and yeah, or maybe it was like sleep paralysis, but like I wasn't like paralyzed, I don't know, maybe it was like a weird form of sleep paralysis, I don't really know what it was, but then it happened again later, actually recently. My family went on a vacation to Disneyland, and we had this hotel room, and it was just a regular hotel, and like we could tell it was like haunted because like stuff would go on like in the middle of the night, like the faucet would turn on in the bathroom, and we'd like go over and it was like running and no one was there, and we'd have to turn it off and then we'd turn back on, and it was like really weird, and like the shower would like turn on too, and it was weird, and so it was nighttime, and every time, stuff only happened when it was time for bed. So, like, the second we turned off the lights, even if it was, like, super early, like, the second we got ready for bed and, like, got in bed and turned off the lights, stuff would happen, like, literally the split second. So, we turned off the lights, and I went to bed, and I was just kind of, like, staring at the wall, you know, and then all of a sudden I hear my brother, like, kind of shift in his bed, and he got out of bed, and I heard him, like, walk towards the bathroom, and I just kind of, like, saw him, like, walk, and it's the same brother that I talked about in the last story. So he just came over and then he just kind of stopped. He like hesitated and then just stopped in front of me, and I'm like on the like floor on the air mattress, right? And I'm looking at him, and I see like his little like jammy shorts and stuff and his little socks. And I'm like, and I'm too lazy to like look up because I just assumed it was him because no one else really looks like that. Like I only have one brother, and I was like, hey bud, and I just kind of was like, hey bud, what you doing? And then everyone like kind of started shifting because like I kind of like woke them up because I was using like an inside voice, you know, and so I look back and my brother's in bed, my mom's in bed, my sister's in bed, and my sister's friend is in bed, and there's no one else staying in our hotel. So then I look back and I'm like, wait. So I look back to see like who it was, and no one was there. So it might have been the same thing, or maybe I just have a really weird version of sleep paralysis where it's like I just see my brother being creepy. I don't know.
That would be very weird.
That would be really weird. Okay, do you want to tell another one, Emma?
So basically, this happened like 5 nights in a row. And actually, it was after we cleansed our house. So basically, I was sleeping. I kept waking up in the middle of the night. Like, I have problems staying asleep all night. Anyway, and I sleep with my dog, Bear. And he is so loud. Like, he sits there and snores, and he's so gross. Anyway, and I woke up, and he was dead silent. And he was staring at my door. And I kind of like sat up, and I saw somebody leaving my room. And then they closed it, and I was like, And so I went back to sleep, and I asked everyone in my family, and it didn't really look like a person. I can't really describe it. Yeah, it was kind of like, just like a figure kind of a thing. That sounds
Like
really
a black
cliche.
mask?
Yeah, but it wasn't even black. It was like white.
A white mask?
Yeah, a white mask. And but like it was a person. Like I could tell it was a person.
But like a figure.
Yeah, and it wasn't like glowing or anything. It was just kind of there. Like it's so hard to explain it. And I woke up the next morning and I asked everyone in my family if they had gone to my room because I thought maybe it's just like my sister or something because my room is attached to storage rooms and so people go in and out of my room constantly. And no one said anything. And then the next night I was sleeping and I woke up to it like standing over my bed. And it freaked me out, and so I kind of felt like I ignored it because I was so tired. It was like in the middle of the night, and my dog was staring at it again. And so I went back to sleep, and I just kept waking up, like seeing things and hearing things, and it was just really scary. And so the last night that I saw it, and sometimes I'll wake up in the middle of the night and hear things, but it was like I don't know how to describe it. There was like a ton of them, like. Not a ton of them, but words can't really describe. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I could like feel that there was a lot more, and it was a lot more like negative energy the past few times. Because before it was like I didn't really like it. Didn't feel like it had bad intentions. But next night there was like it was bad, and I woke up and I couldn't fall back to sleep. And I turned on all my lights, and anyway, and I think I might be insane, but that's fine. Anyway, you go.
Okay, so it all started it was like a few days before Father's Day. So we didn't know what to make my dad for Father's Day, and we wanted it to be like genuine, but we didn't have any money because we were like little kids, like me and my sister. And so we were like, he's already super tall, but what if we made him like a step stool? And so we just put 2 pieces of wood together and just kind of like started nailing it in, but like we could not figure out how to do the nails because like we were lame and we like couldn't do it, even though it was like literally 2 pieces of wood just stuck together like this. So yeah, it was really weird and weird. I keep doing the wrong the wrong accent. Okay, anyway, I'm not So we were working on it in our backyard, and it was like the part that was like right outside my room, like my wall was like right next to the outside part where we were like working on a step stool for Father's Day, and we like painted the word dad on it and stuff. It was like a super lame gift, but we were trying. And yeah, we were like working our butts off on this thing, even though it was like so simple. And so then one night, like it was like the night after I put it there, like it must have been like haunted wood or something. I don't know, that sounds so weird, but I don't know, like we put it there, and then that night, like we weren't finished with it yet, so I was going to sleep, and then I heard like someone like banging like the hammer onto the nail, like onto the thing, like nailing it. It was like right outside my room, like where we were working on it. And so I was thinking, oh, that's so nice. The neighbors are helping us out with our Father's Day gift. And that would happen like for like several nights in a row, and I just hear like people working on it and like voices and stuff and like hammering and stuff like they were working on it, and one day I was like, oh yeah, I need to check on the progress on that, and I went out and it was just like how we left it like a few days ago, and I was like, okay, and that had never happened before until then, and so then I like one night it was like I heard the banging and I was like, hey mom, dad, can you come in here? And so they came in and it just stopped, and I'm like, just wait, it'll happen again, because like sometimes it would like stop for a little bit and then it would just like start. And they were like in there for like a solid 20 minutes, and they're like, what do you want? Like, we don't. And I was like, do you hear that noise? Like, did you hear, like, hold on, like, the noise is gonna happen. They're like, what noise? And so, yeah, it was like super weird. And every time someone else walked in the room, like, my siblings heard it too, but like every time my parents walked into the room or like an adult, it would just stop. And then we finished the step stool later and gave it to my dad, and then ever since then, it's never happened again as far as I know. I'm not sure though. It was really weird. So yeah.
That is weird.
Sorry about my like transferring from Western to British constantly. I'm trying real
That's
hard.
good. We could be the emotional.
British cowgirl.
Yep. That could be our new.
We should do an episode where we just talk in British accents, because that'd be so much easier. Yeah, there was another story I was gonna tell too. It was like, oh yeah, it was the one here. So I was sleeping over at Emma's house, and we were like just kind of like laying down, and at around like 8 o'clock, like there was just we just heard footsteps like kind of walking around, and we're like, no, that's weird, and was like, oh, it's probably just my sisters, it's fine, like this happens all the time, like they don't like ever go to bed, and so like she's like, oh, they don't go to bed till like midnight, and I'm like, all right, that's chill. And then as the hours passed, like around 10 o'clock, like it started like a jog and then like a run until it was like trampling, and there was like, it sounded like there were like 50 people just stomping and running around upstairs, and we waited like 4 to 5 hours and it didn't stop even for a second. It just kept going and going as if like the track team was like running laps around. So we were like, what the crap, let's go see what that is, okay. And so then we like grab our like little flashlights and stuff and like creep upstairs, and then we like walk up, and it's empty, and no one's there, and we don't hear anything. We saw nothing. We were like, okay, let's look around, because maybe there were like people or something. And so then we went around, like with her flashlight, we checked every single room in the upstairs, like multiple times, and we were like, okay, nothing is there. So then we got a snack, and we just like kind of started eating and talking, and then I kept seeing like black figures like walking around, like out of the corner of my eye, but then I turned and nothing was there, you know when that happens, like, and so I kept like seeing stuff and it wasn't there, and I'm like, okay, this is getting really weird, and I kept feeling like there were like hundreds of eyes like watching me, like, you know when you're like, you feel like you're not alone, like you just know that someone's like watching you, and it's like really weird. That's how I felt, except it was like a really, really bad feeling, like, yeah, I have to like stop myself from not going to British. Anyway, so yeah, it was really bad. And so then, yeah, we were just doing that, and then I was like, hey Emma, we should go downstairs, like I have a really bad feeling, like it got really overwhelming, like I thought like I was going to die, and so I'm like, Emma, let's just go back downstairs, and she's like, alright, let's go. So then we went back down, and then it started like, the second we stepped the last step and went downstairs, it just started like stampeding again. We're like, oh my gosh. So we ran upstairs and it stopped again. So we walked around, checked all the rooms again, and then Emma was finally like, she shined her flashlight into her stepsister's room and was like, come over here. So I looked over and nothing was there, and she's like, it just left. And I'm like, what just left? And she's like, I saw this black mass like standing there for a split second, like I blinked and it was gone. And I'm like, that's really weird. So then we went downstairs and just kind of like tried to sleep for the rest of the night, except I couldn't sleep because like it kept getting worse gradually until the dogs were like barking, like it sounded like they were like in pain, like being tortured, and those footsteps were like getting worse and worse, and it sounded like there was like World War III going on upstairs. It was like really scary, and I'm like shaking Emma, and I'm like, Emma, this is not good. Yeah. And she's like half asleep, and I'm like,
I'm a very deep sleeper.
So yeah, and then I started feeling like nauseous, and then I like almost threw up, but that's another story. So yeah, there's that.
So moral of the story is, my house is super freaking haunted. So is Rianne's.
Yeah.
And I'm a lot paler than you. I'm looking at myself right now, and I look like I'm
weird olive, except my hands are
lucky
weird.
Though. Like I'm so pale. Like what the poop. Anyway.
So yeah, that's our like spooky story video.
Yeah.
So yeah, I hope you enjoyed that.
And
and
see you next time.
Sorry about the like British accent. I'm trying so hard.
It's really hard. We haven't done a video in a long time.
I know, and I've been like talking in a British accent this entire friggin' like last week without stopping.
Yeah.
And I'm so sorry. Okay. So
Well,
yeah.
Thank you so much. Make sure to subscribe and leave a like.
Yes,
and
please do.
comment if you want to. You don't have to.
Yeah. So yeah, we suck, but that's okay. This channel's for our entertainment, not yours. If you watch this far, I love you so much. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I love you. And yes, thanks for watching Emotional Cowgirls. Like and subscribe.
Woo!
Okay, hold on. We'll cut this out later. Okay. Howdy, y'all. It's us, the Emotional Cowgirls. I'm Ree.
I'm Emma.
And today we are going to be doing this, crap, I haven't done this accent in forever. Basically, today we are going to be doing a video where we're basically telling you about our paranormal, like, experiences and stuff. Just creepy things that have happened to us in the past. And, we got this idea from Harmony Nice. I love her. I'm just going to give her a shout out. I love you, Harmony. Okay,
Is that her actual name?
yeah. That's her birth name. She did like a video on that. Like people asked her a bunch of questions, and a bunch of people were like, "Is that your real name, Harmony Nice?" And she's like, "Yeah, that's my birth name."
Wow.
So yeah,
That's
Harmony
impressive.
Nice.
I
I
wish I had a
know.
name like that.
Same. She's perfect. Why? So yeah, would you like to go first?
Which story?
Just do one.
Alright. So,